We're going to start with this one here on Lindsey.
Didn't enumerate what was actually in the Constitution about the election.
Exactly.
Like that, failing to even just say, well, here's what it says in the Constitution.
Especially as an originalist.
As an originalist, that's exactly right. But as I introed our break panel here, I said we've had some questioning of the nominee and we've had a debate about Obamacare. It all began with Lindsey Graham's opening statement, with Dick Durbin responding about 2 hours later. Here's a quick mashup of it.
Under the Affordable Care Act, 3 states get 35% of the money, folks. Can you name them? I'll help you. California, New York, and Massachusetts. They're 22% of the population.
When the chairman opened up on it and said what he did, I was puzzled. 3 states get 35% of the money? How can that possibly be true? Well, it turns out because those states decided to extend Medicaid coverage to the people who lived in the states, and his did not. And as a consequence, fewer people in South Carolina have the protection of health insurance.
So, Claire McCaskill, you and I began yesterday by being surprised at the discipline of the Democrats on health care. I would say the discipline drew blood because Lindsey Graham's opening statement today, where he felt the need to rebut what he thought was said yesterday. And then, by the way, gave a description of what he'd like to see in South Carolina, which I believe someone might say, hey, you just described Obamacare. But Senator Claire McCaskill, was that quite the tell from Lindsey Graham this morning?
It was a tell, and he was defensive. And, you know, by the way, let's point out to everyone that South Carolina is a big winner with federal money. For every dollar South Carolinians pay to the federal government, they get back 7. They're in the top 15 states in the country, getting more money back from the federal government than they pay in. So not only was he wrong about the way he used context for his argument, it shows how defensive they are. But, you know, what I think is kind of really weird about today is the fake page from the Republican senators. Trump campaigned on appointing nominees to the Supreme Court that would overturn abortion rights and the ACA. Well, so why are these, and by the way, some of those Republican senators did too. And they're all acting that they're so outraged that the nominee is getting asked about it. Well, of course she's going to be asked about it because that's what the guy who nominated her said he was going to do. Seems pretty simple to me.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to seem pretty simple to me. Seem pretty simple to me. Hey, look, there are two. I hope you guys got the 2 important things that they said there. One, the reason Lindsey Graham is getting the amount of money that he's getting, likewise it applies to Texas and all those red states that didn't take the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, is simple, right? Here's the deal. These states are paying taxes. You know, all of us are paying a tad bit more Medicare tax, a tad bit more of all these little taxes to cover Obamacare, right? So that everybody would have better health insurance. And there's a whole lot of complexities there, unnecessary complexity, but that's how you have to do it in a system where you have private insurance. But the fact is, states had the option of opting out of the Affordable Care Act, the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. So guess what? These foolish states are paying taxes, but for ideological reasons, they're telling their people, we don't want that Obamacare. It doesn't work. Look, you're not covered. You're not covered because they did not accept the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. And then they say, oh, New York, California, and Massachusetts, which represent 22% of the country's population, they are receiving 35% of the money. What they don't also tell you is 22% of the population only have 6% of the senators, right? So, I mean, the amount of stupidity that they have to expect of you, they have to believe that you are not intelligent to somehow fall for what they're saying. The reason their states are in the state that they're in, and by the way, all these red states are takers. They get more money from the federal government than they give into the federal government. The blue states support them. They are welfare states. And why are they welfare states? It's not the people in the states. It's that these leaders are simply evil. And what do I mean by they're evil? They don't take the taxes that they should from the corporation so that the people would have good education, good medical care, and all of that. They don't do that. They beg the government, they beg the blue states to give them more money. They don't collect taxes, and then they accuse the blue states of saying, you guys just tax people too much, and that's why people in California and New York are moving to Texas. No. Most of the people in California and New York are staying their butts right where they are. That's why their populations have stayed. Yeah, Texas is growing from a lot of other conditions, and Texas will be a blue state either after 2020 or after 2022. So, bottom line is this. What Lindsey Graham had to say was silly. He is the one stopping his state from getting appropriate funding from the federal government for the Affordable Care Act, which would have ensured a lot more of his people at a discount. Remember, the first 3 years of the Affordable Care Act costed the states zero. And thereafter, 10% of whatever the cost is. Right now, the states are paying more money because they're still paying the taxes, and still they have to have some sort of a minimal program to simply keep those that are dying in their states, those sick people in their states without insurance, at least on life support, so that they don't die too fast or die such a gruesome death. Those guys in these red states, those guys who run the red states, they're criminals, they're murderers. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.